Who wants to be stronger? Who wants to be so titanically tough that you can bench press a bus off yourself, or your children, or somebody else's children, or for fun? If that's you, then stick around and find out how. Welcome back, recruits, to the second video in our Iron Strong session series. Wow, try saying that 5 times fast. I'm Cayden Heller, the owner of Iron Strong Training. I've been coaching and training since I got out of high school, and I've had the pleasure of coaching everybody from youth to pro athletes to everyday individuals. I've also taught and studied exercise at the university level, and today is the second video in the series where I'm going to try and share as much of my knowledge and experience as possible to you. Like it says on the title, today is all about strength. So here's what we're going to be going over. What strength is, some of the key adaptations our bodies make to get stronger, technique and exercise selection, and the basics of programming for strength. First, a little bit of the science. Muscular strength is defined as the muscle's ability to produce force. Max strength, or maximum force production, is the highest amount of force a muscle can produce at any given moment. Muscles can be broken down into several different layers, down to the individual fibers and down to the actual sarcomeres, the smallest contractile unit of a muscle. That thing. It's often theorized that the contractile elements of the sarcomere, the filaments, the actin and myosin, have a coupling relationship where the myosin pulls on the actin, sliding together, shortening the length of the muscle, making it contract and pull on the skeleton for leverage to exert force and cause movement. It's further theorized that this pull, this coupling, the creation of mechanical tension it causes, signals the body that it needs to be able to produce force to overcome resistance, and when done against more and more resistance, tells the body that it needs more stronger muscle in order to overcome that challenge. This is why the body lays new filaments to make the muscles stronger. This is often called myofibrillar hypertrophy. Now, there's a lot to get into about hypertrophy, and we'll do that in a later video. For now, just understand that having more contractile proteins in your muscles may mean that your muscles are producing more force and getting stronger. It's a very easy train of thought to follow. Muscles aren't the only thing producing force. The nervous system has to tell them what to do. And muscle fibers can be grouped up into motor units, which is one neuron, a motor neuron, and all of the fibers that it innervates or tells what to do. Early strength gains can be contributed to the nervous system becoming more efficient and telling and recruiting those motor units to produce force and movement. And not only that, but it's also thought that the signals the nervous system sends to the muscle to tell them what to do begin firing faster and more frequently to produce stronger movement. In addition, with training, the nervous system also becomes more efficient. You see, the nervous system has a very limited number of resources it can use to tell the body what to do at any given time. If we train, then the nervous system gets better at utilizing those resources to coordinate movement, to tell opposing muscle groups to relax while you're trying to do movement, and so much more. There is so much science that goes into human movement and what causes you to get stronger. It's way too much for us to be able to cover in this little video today. So if you want me to do a science deep dive, leave a comment in the comment section below. And while you're down there, why not like and subscribe and join the Iron Strong Army? All right, time for the practical piece. If we want to be strong, we need to select exercises that match our goal. If we want to be generally strong, then we want to focus on the compound movement patterns that I mentioned last video. Check it out if you haven't. These compound movements are multi-joint, lots of muscle mass exercises that allow us to load a lot of weight on the body. And if our goal is to get stronger, produce more force, then having a lot of weight that we have to move against is always a benefit. We also want to consider the stability of the movement. Like I said last section, Our nervous system has a very limited number of resources that it uses for us to do movement. If an exercise is super unstable, then we are using more resources from the nervous system to coordinate and stabilize movement than we are actually using it to recruit motor units and produce force to be strong. So if we want to be strong, we want to select an exercise that is relatively stable. Machines are kings of stability, but they're not the only ones. As long as you're not doing an exercise that is intentionally unstable and trying to train for strength or max strength, then you will be mostly fine with generally the same exercises you would pick in a gym. The concept is very simple. We want the nervous system and the rest of the body to focus on being strong if our goal is to get stronger. Beyond exercise selection, in our technique for strength-focused movements, we want to exert a certain level of control. This doesn't mean going super slow or focusing on every small inch of movement during the exercise, but there's two main reasons that we want to have a good control coordinated movement. One of them is potentially preventing injury. See, the human body is very resilient. However, it is also very easy to injure certain parts of it. And if we're just freely slinging weight around, then we are increasing the likelihood of injury by putting unnecessary strain on our joints and tissues while we're trying to work out. The second reason is because we have a sensor in the actual muscle itself called the muscle spindle, and it senses the length of the muscle. If we rapidly stretch that muscle out, it does what's called a stretch reflex, where it rapidly brings that muscle back to its original length. You might have experienced this if you ever accidentally knocked a limb back and it just rapidly stretches back in front of you. That's a stretch reflex. And sometimes it's thought that the stretch reflex competes with motor unit recruitment to be able to produce force while trying to cause the muscle to move. The issue is that the stretch reflex is sometimes thought to compete with motor unit recruitment for producing force and going through range of motion. So if we're only using a stretch reflex, then we're not actively controlling the movement and causing our body to produce force, which is not telling our body that it needs to overcome the challenge and build new muscle and get stronger. When training for strength, there's a few ways we can go about it. If we are training for pure strength adaptation, then we want to load roughly 85% or higher for our 1 rep max of an exercise, or a weight that challenges you for 1 to 5 or 6 reps. This is heavy loads. We want to train with heavy loads in order to cause the body to produce more force and tell itself to get stronger. For set volume, we can get away with 2 to 6 sets per exercise. And this depends on what you're able to recover from, how much fatigue you accumulate, and the actual rep scheme that you do in those sets. In general, lower volume helps with the management of fatigue and recovery. As far as rep schemes go for max strength training, there's a couple avenues we can do. One of them is setting a rep range, say 3 to 5 reps. And every time we max out the rep range for each set on an exercise, then the next week we can add more weight so the exercise becomes more challenging. An appropriate weight could be different for each and every one of us, but in general, somewhere around 5 to 10 pound increases for upper body movements and 10 to 15 pound increases for lower body movements, straight towards the general middle of progression. The other avenue we can do is setting an actual number of reps for each set. This means hitting, say, 3 reps for every single set, and then every week adding a little bit more weight to progress the exercise. Remember, our goal is to be able to be stronger and produce more force. If we have more resistance each and every week for a set number of reps, then we are producing more force and being stronger and stronger and stronger as we work towards maximizing our force production. Finally, if we loaded our exercises correctly, then our reps will be relatively slow in tempo. For moderately heavy loads, our eccentrics and concentrics tend to be somewhere around 1 to 2 seconds. For maximal or near maximal loads, our reps will be unintentionally slow. Anybody who's done a 1-rep max has experienced this feeling. Our eccentrics tend to be somewhere around 2 to 3 seconds, and our concentrics for near maximal loads tend to be around 2 to 4 seconds or even longer, however long it takes you to get the weight up. Now you know how to become an absolute unit of strength. If you still don't know where to start or how to train for your goals, click the link in my bio to fill out the coaching application and we can smash those goals together. If you have any questions or requests for future videos, drop a comment below, and also like and subscribe to support the channel, join the Iron Strong Army, and keep getting the very best fitness content there is. I'm Coach Cayden, and don't forget to forge your own destiny.